Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today, it is Friday, and you know what that means. It is our time for our weekly number report. While I have been, doing it on Saturday or Sunday these past couple days, that's mainly been because we've gotten some massive news drops the other 2 days, and I really wanted to take the time to cover those and get those out for you guys. But we are here and trying to return to that normal Friday number report update, which you guys seem to enjoy a ton, and we got some awesome news to talk about, as well as for me to correct something and really clear up some of the muddy waters with the anniversary numbers and things I have said with that. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So before we switch it over to the numbers, it is super important that you guys understand that this is rating numbers only. So when we look at like anniversary, for example, there are a ton of people still leveling, and it is not reflective of the active population. I want to be very clear that you guys are aware of that this is rating numbers only. So people that log in and only PvP, and people that are just, enjoying playing the game, leveling ults, PvPing, anything like that, they are not counted in this reflection, and I have no way to get that data. However, raiders are the most dedicated players to the game to log in every week on a specific day and time and do their raids, so I think it is a good sort of metric to use when doing these analysis. So without further ado, let's switch it over to the numbers and dive right in. So we are here on the Classic 2019 schedule, and as you can see from right here to here, this is Classic 2019, and then we go into TBC from right here all the way to here. Then we go from TBC to Wrath of the Lich King, ending all the way down here. Wrath definitely lasted the longest, almost 2 years. And then we go into Cataclysm here, which has been a roller coaster ride for sure, and we'll definitely talk about that at the end. So I broke those in so you guys can have some perspective and understanding. So Classic pretty much bounced between 400,000 and 300k, holding pretty strong numbers throughout. It peaked at about 500,000, which I think was the launch. This was either the launch of BWL or AQ. I think it was BWL, but really cool to see that many people go into there and have a blast with it. And then with TBC, we see about a steady of like 400 to 350,000. So TBC definitely well regarded for its raid, and actually the most consistent expansion for raiding that we see throughout this entire project, which is really cool to see. Classic kind of like peaked at BWL and then just slowly fell off all the way down. And then TBC pretty much held strong. It peaked at 404,000 players, and it's just really awesome to sort of see that type of dedication and loyalty there. I think a lot of people are missing TBC because of that now. Then we go to Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath has historically been the most popular expansion, so it is no shock that Wrath peaked at 626,000 players here, which is really awesome to see. This was Nax and Phase 1, and then this was Ulduar, and then that our Ulduar introduced all the hard modes, so as you can see, a steep drop off. Then we get TOGC, then we go into ICC, and we go all the way down. ICC lasted really long. People were getting tired, and a lot of attrition there. Then we go into Cataclysm. Now Cataclysm had a little bit of a rough start, but it bounded to a peak of 317,000, and then it has gone nothing but down. This was the patch before Firelands came out for its all-time low of 50,000. Then it jumped up to 120k. 2 weeks ago it peaked at 132k with Firelands, and then it has gone back down to 115k. This week is obviously holidays and Christmas, so it is really something to take a look at and be aware of, that these numbers might not be too representative or reflective, because holidays coming, Christmas coming, 115,000 is not too alarming. Just a small drop off, but people are traveling, people are going and doing a lot. What concerns me the most, and if you're a Cata player you should definitely look at this, is that most of these expansions held steady populations, but Cata hit its peak and has gone straight downhill. And that is really alarming, and it is sort of only retaining a third of the consistent rating player base that rated for all this time. So very, very alarming to me, and something we'll definitely keep an eye on and keep talking about. Next, let's go to Season of Discovery. So this is Phase 1 of SoD right here. This drop-off is Phase 2, and the shortest phase from here to here. And then we go into Phase 3 right here, which was the longest phase. Right here, this small uptick is for Phase 4. Then we have Phase 5 over here, and Phase 6 right here. So those are the SoD phases. Now, SoD Phase 1 peaked at 500,000 players, which is amazing, but it is important to note that SoD Phase 1, you really could just make a character and get it to 25 in a day, as well as many people played a ton of ults. Like me personally, I played, 8 characters at this time for some of these weeks, so I count for 8 in this total chart here, which is, I was doing it for all the rune videos and all you guys out there for those. But then we go into Nomergon, which was the shortest phase, and that grind from 25 to 40, big jump off. So I think you see people really only playing their first characters in these coming weeks, and then they give this the XP boost. You start to see more. Nomergon is climbing, and then we get the next phase announcement, and then it starts to go down again. People start preparing. People jump into Sunken Temple. Sunken Temple is a 20-man raid, so that instantly just halves it. It makes it a lot harder to get people in there. It makes it a lot harder for pugs because you need twice as many people, as well as the fights were a lot more difficult. And then the only content to do was incursions, which people got burnt out really quick, as well as Cataclysm came out. So we see just a massive fall off for Season of Discovery in Phase 3, dipping to an all-time low of 20,000 players. But Phase 4 comes along, bounces it back up. Phase 4 peaked at about 88,000 people, which is really cool to see. And then Phase 5 bumped it even higher to 88,000 as well. And then it keeps going all the way at that steady Phase 5 rating. Then when AQ comes out, we see a small drop off to 77k and then 66k. And now, once again, with the holidays coming up, people are traveling, people are out. We are at a 53k mark. So it is really interesting to see that and where we are at with it. Obviously, I think this is the same thing as Cat. I think this is due to holidays, people traveling. They also introduced the rune thing, and from what I've seen from SoD, what you guys are seeing here is, a lot of people are playing, a lot of people are asking to join my guild. I see a lot of people playing alts, getting back into it. Layers have been up as well on Crusader Strike, so I think a lot of people actually are coming back to SoD and getting back into it from at least my point of view and perspective, and rating numbers don't really reflect that. So the Scarlet Enclave and the Phase 7 announcement and PTR, I think, have done a lot of good for SoD, and I'd expect this number to go up once we get over the holiday block. But time will tell with my prediction, and I hope I am right. Now let's go and talk about the anniversary and error numbers. So error numbers have actually dropped down even lower. It's bleeding out big. I guess people are going to anniversary. People are playing there. They've been stuck on the same patch for 5 years, just nonstop at Naxxramas. So I guess it's only been 4 years being at the end patch. But it would make sense that this would just slowly dwindle down and probably die off. But there are a few people who do enjoy Classic Era. It's just personally not for me. I don't enjoy it, but to each their own. People can definitely enjoy this and play what they so deserve and want to play. If people like that, by all means, go ahead and play it. It's just personally not something I enjoy or would play, and the graph for this is just wrong. I don't know why I can't get the graph up. But let's go over and talk about anniversary numbers. So a very nice, pleasant surprise to see is that anniversary numbers are up almost 5,000. We're going to go over to my video last week right here talking about them. So it was at 20,000. There isn't enough data for the chart to be created yet. So it went from 20k to 25k. So that's almost 5,000 more people. And that is really awesome to see. Now, the only criticisms that I have with this is that this is the 5th week of raiding here, or like week 5 of the Classic launch, and so I want to take you guys on a little journey and back in time. So August 26, 2019 is when Classic launched. Apes killed the first MC in 5 days after this launch, so they did it week 1. They got the world first. There was no time gating. So a lot of people were like, oh, a lot of us are still leveling, a lot of us are still doing that, etc., etc. And while those are good reasons, and I completely understand it, I want to compare it to 2019 just to show you how many people aren't playing the game. So this is from this is September, so this is the 4th week. This is the 5th week of Classic 2019, so it is almost at 60,000 players. These are people that had 5 weeks as well back then to get to here. So this is people at week 5 back then. That is 60,000 players, and we see right here that we are only at 25,000. So that is less than half. Like, that is like 60, it's like 33% almost of that number. I did quick math, so I could be wrong there, but it is kind of crazy that only like it's not a third, right? A third would be 75, so it's like somewhere between 40% and like 35% of players are there. And that is alarming. Like, that to me, I know people are still leveling. I know people are still playing. And I do expect this number to continue to rise. I really hope it does. But it is slightly alarming to compare that week 5 of 25K to week 5 of the Classic era original launch at 60,000. And just the leaps that this one is taking, right? It went from 42 to 50 to 60K. So, like, that is almost 17,000 people that added on from week 4 to week 5, and here we have week 4 to week 5 being only 5K. Now, I do understand, as I mentioned with the other two, it is the holiday season, but I got a lot of backlash and a lot of feedback, and people always were commenting on it, so I wanted to be abundantly clear and just show you the true, honest, unbiased stat. Like, this is just data. This isn't my opinion. This is the data. These are the I'm not trying to have an opinion or be biased in any way. I just think it is really alarming that people might not be as hyped or excited for Anniversary and doing it again as people might have thought. And there was just a lot of hype from content creators and a lot of information out there that people seem to really want this, and then we look at these realistic numbers and it's just not really reflecting that hype and build up. Nowhere near what 2019 was. It's maybe like 33% of that. But anyway, guys, that is it for my opinions and the hard data that we see with the Anniversary numbers. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys think, and definitely drop it down below. And it is okay to disagree with me. Just I ask that you do it respectfully. I definitely read them and I'll definitely reply to you guys. But until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.